Good evening, Central to New York. Welcome, Central to New York. Where's that?
Central New York.
Where? Good evening, Central New York. Welcome to Agent Paranormal. I'm your co-host, Rich, and with me in the studio is Reverend Peter, sitting on the left of me, eating his pizza. To the right of me is Chris.
Good evening.
Yeah, Chris is actually going to talk tonight and present some stuff. It's going to be some really cool stuff. And, of course, manning the station and all the satellites above us is Kevin, sitting directly across from me.
Yay.
Yay. Oh, did you just say it in the plod thing?
I didn't do it. It's all the people.
Oh, it's all the people.
Oh, God, we got a B-roll now?
We do. We got a B-roll. So welcome to the show. It's been a while, and we are glad that you're back. So starting in March, we decided, due to the popular demand for our show, that we're going to do 2 shows a month. So this is number 1 of 2 shows in the month of March. So welcome. So for those of you in Central New York, I hope you're enjoying this beautiful day of weather. I almost called in Hooky myself. I'm like, man, do I need to go do a show or should I just hang out and walk around the lawn and clean up the dog crap?
Yeah.
That's what I did. I have 2 little chihuahuas, and man, I'm telling you.
They make a mess.
They make a mess all over the place. Love my dogs to death, but wow. Anywho, so let's talk about some paranormal stuff, okay? First of all, please go to Facebook and like our page. It's Agent Paranormal. Give us a like, smash that like button, and you can follow us. We'd love to hear from you. Also, check out Disruption Network, and if you haven't already, like them as well. We have an Instagram for Agent Paranormal. You can check us out there, too, as well. We're really engaging and friendly people, so if you ever want to chat with us, please message us on the Facebook page. If you have a question or a case or you just want to talk about the paranormal, hit us up. That's what we're here for. So let's talk a little bit about some upcoming stuff also before we get into the meat of the topics tonight.
Is there like a call-in number for them?
What is the call-in number?
If you guys want to call in, their number.
Yeah,
right?
there's a call-in number.
Absolutely.
Tonight. It's on the screen. It's 315-351-2923.
I do. I see it right
Wow,
there.
you sounded like an official
I don't
sports
like-
announcer there, Kevin.
My
I don't know
screen
if
only
you know
says
this,
Utica
but I
Coffee.
actually went to school kind of for this. I don't know.
That's
weird.
Kevin's broadcast
Kinda?
voice.
I have different broadcast voice. You know, I can do a ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls kind of thing.
Although I got to say, whoever
That
did
was
your,
just kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Let's go with the
whoever
first
did your
one.
hat must have been drunk because half of it's cut off and it's crooked.
It's on the brim. You just gotta look. And maybe I was drunk. I had a couple beers before I did it.
Couple Saranacs. Never a bad thing when you're designing a logo for Agent Paranormal. Have a couple beers beforehand. So that was the microphone.
I thought it was me.
Boing.
Yeah, that surprised me as well. So, hey, so tonight we got some really cool topics we want to talk to you about. We're going to talk about Hollywood in the paranormal. Now, of course, we all love horror movies, and we all love that crazy supernatural stuff that Hollywood produces. But tonight we're actually going to talk about real things that happen of paranormal nature during the filming of these movies and after. So Chris is going to take us down that tour. He's got a lot of great information, and I think Pete was basically saying that he's looking forward to hearing this. So
I just came here for dinner.
he's eating pizza as we have our
Horrible
show
pizza.
here.
Gas
So,
station pizza.
we're also going to talk about poltergeists. Someone reached out to me on Facebook and asked me about poltergeists, so I figured I would include that in tonight's show. We'll talk a little bit about that and our experiences or lack of experience in there. And also, we're going to talk about the Rucker Mansion, one of our favorite places in Utica to investigate. And, of course, April 18th, we're doing a big event there where we're going to be doing a lecture and investigation, or what do we call it?
Presentigation.
Presentigation. We're going to be doing. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have food and snacks. We're going to do a couple special things we'll be announcing shortly about that show. And then we're going to ghost hunt till wee hours of the night. So get your VIP ticket. They're only $45. It includes a tour, meet and greet, the snacks and I almost said a meal. Knowing the record people, they'll probably give it a meal. But we're going to go with snacks and refreshments. And then the lecture, and then the investigation, and then the VIP investigation. So it's going to be a good time. Looking forward to it.
Kevin and I are going to do something we haven't done there before. Has nothing to do with the wee-wee. But we're going to change it up. Kevin doesn't even know the experiment yet.
I probably don't.
Do we want to know?
We just have to make sure they disconnect the fire alarm system.
Oh, okay.
Where are we going with this?
It's going to be cool.
Oh,
We
good
need
Lord.
power. And the fire alarm system disconnected.
Yeah.
So what's going through my head right now is that you're going to bring in a cadaver and do a Dr. Frankenstein experiment.
I can't tell you.
Okay,
Where the hell
that's
am I
what they're
gonna
going to
get a
do.
Cadaver. I mean, the
Well,
closest thing we could get. Is,
you got a guy who specializes in cadavers just walked in the door in our show. This was all planned.
Really?
What's that? I didn't swear. I swear to God, I didn't. Oh, absolutely. If he wants to join in. Okay, he's going to watch us. To me, it's like looking in a zoo and you see this wild creature, but you don't want to get too close. That's how it is with us.
Yes.
People like us, but they don't want to get too close to
We're
us because some of that
definitely the
craziness
wild
and weirdness rubs off on them. So,
Story of my life.
I'm not rubbing off on anybody. I'm sorry. I'm just.
so if you got a question or you want to know something about the paranormal, hey, the phone lines are open. Hit us up. That's what we're here for. We want to talk to you, don't we, guys?
Yes, you.
Oh, yes.
Really. Give us a call. Come on.
No
I'm
question
sitting
is
here and there's
stupid.
nothing coming through. 315-351-2923.
I don't know. From what you said, Pete, now you got my mind spinning, trying to figure out what you guys are going to be doing.
Oh, it's going to be good.
It's definitely Dr. Frankenstein. I'm telling you right now.
All I picture is like lasers and smoke screens and
Well, Kevin has a 3D printer, so he's designing some kind of artificial heart.
nice.
There's a suit
Got a
of
guy
armor
who's going to
there.
be
Use
bringing
your
over a cadaver.
Yes.
So 1 and 1 equals 2. So cadaver, artificial heart. We're talking about not setting off the fire alarms. There's number 3. So they're going to use all the power in the building to juice up whatever it is they're doing. So
Do you want me to bring the little kids again to scare the hell out of people where they just randomly run out of rooms?
now we got little kids involved in this. It's just
You say who
weird.
would do something like that? Not us.
No, absolutely not. So let's talk about the first thing we want to do here tonight. This is something we've been toying around a bit, and Chris has done a lot of research for us. This is Hollywood and the paranormal, and this stuff is really fascinating. So if any of you watch Ghost Adventures and you've seen the episode or anything on YouTube about his haunted museum, where he actually goes out and brings all this stuff in, and some of it, I believe, is Hollywood related. But it's kind of like that a little bit, because here you're filming Ghost Adventures, but basically he's filming the paranormal, yet he brings all this paranormal home, and then he has all this paranormal stuff happening at his little museum,
Yes.
which I watched a YouTube video the other night. We had a reporter from E.T. that was in there,
Okay.
Entertainment Tonight, whatever it is.
Yes.
And he wanted this guy to sit in that death rocking chair, one from that one case that the Warrens did. This guy would not do it. He's like, come on, just touch the chair. He's like, no, I'm not going in there. He's like, come on. He's grabbed him by the arm. He would not go near that chair. That's how powerful that stuff freaks people out. So now imagine you're filming a movie. It's fiction. Let's take The Exorcist, for example, right?
Yeah.
That movie terrified me. I'm not going to lie. Like Poltergeist, that was entertaining, but Exorcist terrified me. So the actors and everything, this is just a movie, right? They're just playing the part and role, and they walk away. Oh, you get paid. But what if stuff really happened to them during the movie? And what if stuff really happened to them after the movie? So, Chris, let's just dig in here, man. Let's just tell us what you got.
Well, it's like I started looking up Exorcist, and I'm digging in, and there's like a ton of different things that happen within the movie, off the set. I'm sure people have heard like there was an incident where the entire set burned to the ground. It put them behind like 6 weeks in production.
This is The Exorcist?
For The Exorcist, yeah.
The whole set burned
The whole
down.
set burned down except for Reagan's bedroom where the possession scenes actually took place. Her room was untouched, but
Of course
everything
not.
else was burned to the ground. They had to rebuild and they put him behind 6 weeks. It's
And we actually met Linda Blair at Scaricon, too.
she's a very interesting person.
Yeah, very interesting. It was a good choice of a word.
Talk to me off air. I'll tell you my choice of words.
Continue on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it's like actor Jack McGowan. He played that Burke Dennings within the movie, and within days of finishing his filming, he just unexpectedly died for no reason.
What do you mean
it's-
unexpectedly died for no reason?
He
Well,
was breathing, then he wasn't.
yeah, like it was unexpected. There was no health issues. There was no nothing. It just a couple days after filming his parts, they just found him dead.
Yeah, it's just getting stranger every
You know.
second here.
It was the same. There was a special effects worker and a security guard. They both died while filming the movie as well. There was no real reason why. I couldn't find an explanation of what actually happened to them. They just said that they both died. And there was so many different things happening on the movie that William Friedkin, I think. Friedkin. He actually had a legitimate real priest come in and do exorcisms on the set during the filming to try and calm things down.
And did it work?
Well, I don't know. You be the judge. I mean,
Oh. Now, you and I had a discussion about this offhand. In one of the other movies, I don't know if you have the information with you on here, was The Omen.
I do have The Omen.
And that one had some really
The Omen was pretty
some
interesting.
really
Yes.
weird stuff, man.
Yeah, The Omen was interesting.
But just when we're on The Exorcist, I think somebody actually fell down that staircase and died. The large staircase that was in the movie. I believe someone actually died on the stairs too there.
Really?
Related to the movie.
I mean, that could have been one of the extras or whatnot.
But Omen, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
Damien!
Amazing movie. I mean, for its time, scared the hell out of me. You know.
So I'm assuming that when they filmed the movie Halloween, Michael Myers, nobody died.
No, not that I'm
when they
aware of.
go to the Omen or the Exorcist or the Demonologist or
But it
the
seems
Gates
like-
of Hell, people dying, bad things happen.
But it
Go
seems like the
figure.
movies that have that paranormal entity within them seem to be most affected by this.
Right.
You know, I mean, like within The Omen, like the lead actor, Gregory Peck, and the writer were both on planes going to the movie, and both were struck by lightning at different times while on the plane. I mean, coincidence? Could be. You know,
Okay. Sure.
the stuntman that was standing in for Gregory Peck, there was a famous scene in there where the rabid dog attacked him. The Rottweilers attacked him during the movie. We even know he had all the protective gear on. Somehow something went wrong. Protective gear didn't do it, and the Rottweiler actually went through and went right through his arm. Just accidents, happening. I mean, the zookeeper that was in the movie, I don't know if you remember, there was a scene where they were going on a safari, and all the monkeys went nuts in the movie and whatnot. As soon as that scene was done, that night he was actually mauled to death by a lion on the scene, on that set that went nuts. It's just like it's all these little things, but they all seem to add up. There's a lot of coincidence in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a question, and I'm turning around here looking at Reverend Pete on this. So I need your
That's my
expertise.
son.
Yeah.
So you're filming a movie like The Exorcist or The Omen, where the content is based on the presence of Satan or satanic beings or anything like that, and you're telling this story, you're giving it recognition. You know what I mean? And by giving it recognition, and I say this because I watched an interview with the Warrens where Ed Warren was talking about how he was telling his daughter about the Annabelle doll, how evil it was. He said, whatever you do, don't give it recognition. If you don't give it recognition, it's harmless. It won't do anything.
Yep.
So here you're filming a movie exposing demons for entertainment purposes, okay? And things go bad. So you are giving this subject, you are giving it recognition. So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, this doesn't really sound like it's really coincidence to me. It's like a lot of stuff. Maybe one thing happening, but
Yeah.
several things. I mean, what do you think from your experience, like with the religious aspect of it, the metaphysical aspect of it, and all that?
Well, right off the bat, with all the sirens that are going on outside, you might have some business
Is it-
coming later. But,
Is that coincidence? I'm not sure.
That was a federal cue, if you were wondering.
so how far do we want to go down the rabbit hole with that, Rich?
I mean-
we want to push Agent Paranormal into something we shouldn't?
Well, see, it was like kind of like my interpretation of that, and the way to myself seems like it makes sense. It's like, what was we were talking about? It's like a Ouija board. The board itself is harmless. It's a piece of cardboard, a piece of wood. It's the intent and the attention given to it that makes it dangerous.
Sure, you're emulating an exorcism.
Yes.
You're
So-
emulating it. So even if you don't have a priest or a John Zaffis there telling you what was actually being said, you're still emulating that process.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And something, insidious or whatever you want, it could possibly catch on to that. It'd be irritated by it. I mean,
Just the energy and the thought in everyone's
Right.
mind all together.
But you got to kind of believe in the supernatural, really, in order to talk this. You know, I mean,
What is the take, the three of you, on Hollywood is actually built on demon worship? I'm sure you've heard about that. There's a lot of music people now coming forward saying
Yeah.
they physically sign a contract
I've seen that.
and
Yes.
they become famous.
Yes,
And
because
certain people die young because they have to collect. And you've sort of seen that with Ryan Buell a little bit, where he was sort of like the name, 12 years ago? Now it's like,
yeah, it was
that's
big
the
in
name you don't
Hollywood
even
for
want to-
for years, where if you were unknown and you wanted to be known, a lot of them went into the Church of Satan, became Satan worshipers. They signed with these people, and they were all the bigwigs, and they got them work, and they became famous through that.
so I mean, is that just, again, intent?
Yes,
But if you're part of that club, is that just opening up that
could
door,
be.
so to speak? I mean,
I mean, I know a lot of them claim that they don't believe that; they just did it to, but it doesn't matter. The intent was there.
right.
You know,
It really does come down to intent and recognition and things like this that basically are exercised by free will, right? I mean, it's your free will to go with this intent. It's your free will to give something recognition. So without going too deep into the Hollywood perspective of things, like the industry itself, but do you think that these movies and filming this subject matter, do you think this kind of stuff, I mean, when you watch The Exorcist, and I know you've seen it, I mean, is it pretty par on to what is actually done in an exorcism? I mean, the
No.
prayers, the methodology, I mean,
there is a very specific ritual outlined by the Roman Catholic Church. If you do Christian exorcisms, there's a different variety. Then there's some weird stuff down south where they use snakes and weird things like that. As crazy it is, that's what they do. As far as a Roman Catholic exorcist, doctors have to first certify the person is not medically challenged.
yes,
Like all types of tests are done that they're cleared physically and mentally, that whatever's ailing them is not medical related. So that's the big step one. I mean, I guess they show a little of that in The Exorcist, or was
they
it the
they
second
do.
one
When
where
she
they
went
were
into the
doing that?
hospital, and then she had the CAT scans, the MRIs, and they couldn't find. They wanted her to find a shrink and all that stuff. Then the shrinks are the ones that told her to look for,
So
that
then,
suggested the exorcism actually.
so then they assign a bishop to the case, and the bishop will send in 2 independent exorcist researchers or parish priests, and there's markers now that they start looking for. You need to know things that you don't know. You can speak languages you've never learned, like ancient Aramaic. Allahu, Allahu, Domine Sabatani. But
is that the real language, or is
that's
that
the
your...
7 last words of Christ. I'm sorry. But,
Okay.
but it's things like that they start looking for. Superhuman strength. Like, Rich,
I mean-
why do you have that medal in your pocket of St. Michael? It's like, if I never met you, how do I know you have that on you? It's
Sure.
knowledge like that. They go back to the bishop. The bishop confers with the cardinals, and then they give the order to do it. In a lot of cases, up until recent, most of the times the bishop would actually go in and do it. At one point, there were only 14 exorcists in the world. Gabriel Amaroth was the chief one. Now they apparently have hundreds trained because business is good,
Isn't no?
if you will.
Is it?
And they go in and do it. I mean, they follow a ritual that's, we tried to get John Zaffis to pinpoint that down, but like he said, a lot of that goes back to ancient texts. That stuff goes back into Judaism, Egyptian. It's a large amount of knowledge used to
Yeah.
expel something, and that's what it is. You're calling it out. The process of exorcism isn't standing there getting punched and puked on you. You're calling out whatever specific demon it is,
Yeah.
and you're making them leave
That's the hard
in the
part.
name of Christ if you're going through Roman
Yes.
Catholicism.
I mean, I guess that'd be the difficult within a movie too, because now you're fitting a whole, year's process in an hour and a half movie.
And it may
so-
not happen the first time. Like,
Yeah.
if you want a very, very realistic movie for exorcisms, there's a movie called Possessed. I was just talking with Chris about this. It stars Timothy Dalton. I forgot who the other priest who played Father William Halloran. That's the Robbie case. That's the case that came out of the 1960s. That's the one
The
that
Exorcist,
The Exorcist
is
is loosely based on.
loosely.
This is the kid that they ended up bringing him someplace in Georgetown, Maryland, to some monastery where they did the exorcism. And I guess even to this day, you can't go in that room. They sealed the room. Like,
Wow.
some of the stories, according to what Father Halloran had wrote, that actually Archangel Michael went into that room and expelled whatever was in the kid. It took almost a year to expel whatever
Yeah.
was in.
If I'm not
kid.
mistaken, that is the only case where they're actually dealing with a devil possession and not a demon.
Yes. And that was kind of part of that movie too, because she claimed she was the devil, not a demon. So
Right.
That's why there was that argument within the movie that she was psychotic or just crazy, because most people wouldn't say they're the devil.
Well, and they're mocking the process. The movies for our entertainment
Yes.
are mocking the supernatural entities. So I think that's kind of why it's almost like when you do this, there are repercussions that you're going to face.
Yes.
Because The Omen was kind of the same thing. Maybe not as like gory and as right to the point where they're like throwing holy water on somebody.
Yeah.
But the story is about
Yeah.
the-
I mean,
the
he
son
wasn't
of-
possessed. He was
the son of Satan.
Yes.
So I mean, when you're mocking something like that, I'm just talking out loud here. It's almost kind of like oh, really? You want to mock me? Okay.
Yeah.
There are going to be
Well, that's-
certain prices to be paid.
Well, that's the thing. Like The Omen. I mean, they had 11 people die. That were all
Yeah.
part of the crew and the cast that all died at some point. Like
That's-
they had a whole crew. It seemed to happen a lot on planes for them. They were going from one location to another location, so the crew actually chartered a private jet. As they were getting on the jet, they were actually all kicked off because some corporate guy paid a lot of money, and they said, "Sorry, you got to wait for the next plane." So the corporate guy left, and an hour later or so, they took the next plane. The plane crashed. Every one of them died on the way to set to go film in the movie. I mean, it's like you said, there's so many little things, not little, but, individual, but man, they add up over time.
Yeah, and it just seems to be that those are two of the most prominent movies that
Yeah.
talk about the subjects of possession and the
Yeah.
devil and things of that nature.
I mean, I've probably got 10, 15 different movies. They're more paranormal aspect that every one of them have accounts of this.
Well, let's go.
just-
Since we're going to be talking about poltergeists
Yeah.
here a little bit. I know there was some stuff happened during the poltergeist movie because I was
There
actually
was.
reading some of that on Wikipedia today. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Before you get into that, Chris, I can see there's a lot of people watching.
Okay.
Please feel free to comment, ask
Yeah.
us questions about anything that Chris has anything to say. If you want to give us a call, we have the phone lines open, 315-351-2923.
Vinny has a question, or
This house is clear.
the right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that was with Anthony Hopkins. That was a very good movie.
The movie The Right, that's what
Yes.
we're talking about.
Right. A guest
Yep.
in our audience is talking about the movie The Right with Anthony Hopkins. Who's the guy, wasn't it?
Anthony Hopkins was the main
Right.
priest. Yes.
Yeah, and I think I seen that. I think he was an exorcist, but he did so many exorcisms or something that somehow he became possessed himself.
Yes.
So yeah, that was
Yeah. For him, it was less like old hat. Like he'd go in and he'd just read it off. He'd read, and then he would leave. But
I remember John
it was a little
Zaffis.
more realistic, I
We were
think.
I was just
Yeah.
about to mention that. We were talking about that with the nails.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yep.
Where there's a scene in the movie where he's vomiting out nails.
Yes. They were the
And
old.
it's
yeah.
actually the nails are being created just outside of the mouth. Not that he was physically expelling nails, but
Right.
And I remember talking to John about that, and he's like, "Yeah, well, that's part of
Well,
the magic."
well, John actually met Anthony Hopkins on it might have been Larry King Live or something. He was going to an interview, And he went up to talk to him, and he told me, John Zaffis told me that. Anthony's like, "Oh no, sir, you're the real thing. I want to stay away from you." So he made it very brief, like, "Hi, how you doing? Gotta go," kind of thing with John Zaffis. So apparently he knew of what he does and who he is in the realm of obviously demonology. So
I want to get you guys back, but if people who are into the exorcism thing, do some research out there. Research the exorcism of Mother Teresa. So in the realm of, again, we're going back to the Catholic Church because that's who we think of when you think of exorcism. The Pope can actually expel a demon in the name of Christ because he's standing in, basically, he's the earthly version of Jesus, and he has the authority to command anything to leave.
Yep.
They believe that St. John Paul II actually did a exorcism on Mother Teresa. Just before she died, she started talking anti-church and some other stuff. He went and visited her, and that was that. I mean,
Wow.
again, one of those things we'll never know, but interesting nonetheless. Question? No.
No questions, no calls yet?
Did you have
We had a couple people say that they couldn't hear what Vinny was asking. I just let them
okay.
know that he was just informing us of
Yes.
movie The Right
Yes.
with Anthony Hopkins.
I don't see
It
it.
was based on a true exorcism.
Me neither.
Yep.
apparently, Kevin, you look like King Tut.
I look like King Tut.
King
It's
Tut?
one of the messages in the
It's
watch
Yeah.
party.
Is it because of the brick background type thing?
I
hope-
think it's the mic, but Kevin looks like King Tut.
Oh, yeah.
All I can think is that Steve Martin song,
Is-
King Tut.
Because it looks like the
How'd you
beard
get
on
so
the front of
funky,
the
Kevin?
sarcophagus.
Funky Tut. I mean,
Actually, the way my wife spelled it, oops, it says Kai G Tut.
all right, he does look a little bit like Kaiji Tut. Not, I wouldn't say King Tut, but Kaiji
Yeah,
Tut.
yeah, maybe.
Absolutely. So,
Do you have
Get
the
your
last
microphone,
temptation
people.
of Christ in there by any chance?
You know, I think I might. That
I
was-
mean, since we're on the religion one, let's go for it.
let's finish that. Then let's talk
Or you-
about a little bit about the
last temptation. I got the Passion of the Christ.
Oh no, do you have the last temptation
No, I don't
with
believe I
William
have that one.
Dafoe?
Nope.
That was the movie the Catholic Church said if you watch that, you're automatically going to hell because it was an alternative version of the life of Christ right at the crucifixion. He chose to be persuaded by the devil to live a human life, but then I won't spoil it for you. However, when they filmed the actual crucifixion, the film burned in the camera
Wow.
as they were filming it. Just as he died on film, the film burst in the flames right in the canisters.
Wow.
If you watch the movie, they left that in the cut there, and everybody thought, oh, that was like an artistic thing they left. The director there, the Greek guy, I can't think of his name. He said,
Yeah.
oh, no, he's like that. There's no reason the film in 1980 or whatever should be bursting in the flames in a canister. So they left that in.
I do have a question that came in that said that there is a bunch of movies that have paranormal activity, but are there many fictional TV shows that have any activity on the set?
Fictional TV shows. That's a good question. I'll have to look into that one. You know,
I don't know of any.
You know, I found like one movie at one point, and I thought it was interesting, so I just started researching, and I just found all these movies. Most of them are all paranormal related.
Yeah.
What's
You know.
the lady with the dead people? Was on there for like several seasons there. She had like the hair and the...
She had hair. Oh,
Wasn't she a-
that narrows it down.
The little
Wasn't she in
with the long,
2010 or something? What the hell was
you know, 2010.
Oh, you,
90,
Ghost
2010?
Whisperer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's that, right? Ghost
just
Whisperer.
Ghost Whisperer.
Oh, okay.
You're the girl with the hair.
Well, now you know what it is. They tell you the one with
What
the
do you
hair.
want? The lady with the dead with the hair.
Whatever, King
Thanks.
Tut.
Listen, I like my beard.
I
sorry.
I frankly don't know of any.
Yeah, I haven't heard any, but it's not doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Yeah, we can't really say that there have been any shows.
Well, it's time for Chris to do a little bit more
Fiction.
research tonight, Chris.
I think I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to write that down and make sure I remember to look into that.
Right. So stay tuned for part 2 of that question. There, we'll make sure we get back
I'll
to you.
see
so
if
we
I can
come up
try
with-
and get into it for the next show. I'll see if I can find any.
I think
Check the girl
the
with the
question
hair.
came in from one of your family members. So
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That's kind of scary. I don't know if...
there's a forward on the end of the name for the last name.
Uh-oh.
Gonna be trouble at the
Could be Chevrolet.
Chris's home tonight.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Nicholas Ford.
Uh-oh. Yes. That would be my son.
Aha.
So I'm kind of scared is what he's saying, but okay.
Well,
you'd
he,
like
he
to
was the
some
one that
crappy
asked
pizza
about
home.
the
Oh, about the TV shows?
Yep.
Okay.
Bring him some
Bring him some crappy pizza.
crappy pizza home.
You want some?
There you go.
Well, you couldn't
What
wait
you
till
think
he
of
came
that,
home and
huh?
asked him?
5 meat's
Yeah,
gonna
right.
turn into 6 tonight. But anywho, the paranormal.
Anywho, let's go to Poltergeist. Let's talk a little bit about that. I think just about everyone's seen Poltergeist.
It's clean.
You know, I mean, when I first saw it, was it scary? No, I thought it was kind of fun to watch. Now I watch it's really kind of hokey, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well, the only
got,
the only thing that movie really had at the time was it was like one of the first horror movies that was based not in like an old scary haunted house.
yeah.
That was kind of the whole. That was supposed to be what made it scary, or
It was a
that
brand new house.
It was a brand new house, and it was happening. I think that was supposed to be what was different at the time they made that.
But did you know it wasn't supposed to be a ghost story to start? It was supposed to be a dark horror sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and they were going to call it Night Skies. That's what it was. And then when Steven Spielberg brought that to Toby Hooper,
Yep.
he said, "Nah, we're not going to do a sci-fi. Let's do it as a ghost story." So that he had the idea of making a ghost story. See, because Steven Spielberg, due to a contract, couldn't direct the show or the movie,
Okay.
so he had to hire someone to do it. So, I mean, if you really take a look, the movie got a lot of awards for I think
Yes.
it's like number 80 on the scariest movies of all time, which definitely not on my top 80. But,
No, well,
but
I guess for its time too.
now,
But that movie had a lot of things behind the scenes that a lot of people never realized too. It's like budget was low to a point, and they actually found, being out in California where they were filming, that it was cheaper to actually go to like colleges and stuff and get real skeletons than it was to actually get ones that were made movie props. So like when you see her in the
now
pool,
we're talking.
when you see her in the pool and all the skeletons are coming out of the water and like and stuff, those were all real. Those were all skeletons that they got from,
Vinny confirms it over there.
Yes.
He's shaking
so I
his head
mean,
up and down.
I'm wondering, could something like that be a reason why things were happening on the set?
Then he's over there like, yeah, I got them all in the closet in my basement.
You guys need some skeletons? I'll bring you
Next
some
week,
skeletons
maybe.
and do your show. Did you move any to the set of the Poltergeist movie? No. Okay.
I think we need Vinny up here on the microphone.
So Vinny's basically telling us that he has moved multiple cemeteries before.
And the one in particular was a prison-run cemetery. And the owners of the house
Yeah.
actually had some activity.
Vinny, would you like to come sit? Then we could hear you better, if you like.
So we're going to talk about
Pat,
cemeteries.
can we mic him up?
Yeah, right here.
Cemeteries.
If you put the headphones on, you'll be able to hear us. I can move my girl.
We have a special guest.
Did you know that people are just dying to get into cemeteries?
I even brought my girl.
Ah,
That-
That's just wrong on a lot of different levels.
that's probably nicer than that. No, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Well, I figured we were talking about movies, and Exorcist in particular, so I brought her along with me.
Yeah,
Sit
I
in.
know. Everyone should have one of those in their house.
You're not my mother.
I haven't taken it out of the box, but I am told that her head actually does spin.
So does the real person. Shut up.
So, nope.
Shut up.
Oh, can you fill it up with pea soup?
Control yourself,
Great.
Peter.
It's
Control
like-
yourself.
Pump her up and she sprays it. That'd be great.
You want her to pump her up and then puke something out? That sounds
But that's
horrible.
yeah.
that's
I'm sorry, King Tut.
boo.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, don't mess with the guy that's got those buttons.
Wow.
Pete, on the next show, you could take over the control panel if you'd like.
Don't mess with someone who knows the great creator of the universe.
So we brought Vinny in.
Yes.
Is Vinny on? Are you on?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, Vinny's on.
All right. So tell us a little bit about this moving cemetery stuff. I mean,
Well,
So-
occasionally you'll buy a piece of property and there'll be a cemetery on it, and you'll request them to move it. And in this instance, the owner asked the organization that was maintaining this cemetery to remove it from his backyard. And in doing so, because I've done it before, I was requested to go out and take a look, and we found multiple remains. And the first week, nothing actually happened in the homeowner's property. By the second week, the refrigerator door was opening and closing and lights going on and off. By the third week, there was an individual in the house who the 3-year-old child knew the name.
Wow.
And was very concerned. And at the beginning of the fourth week, they called a Catholic priest in to take care of the situation, bless the house. And that was about the last we heard of the situation. But
Wow.
So the blessing of the house worked, or
yeah, I believe so. Because we would go in the property and always ask St. Michael to help us and protect us, because we're never sure who or what is in where we're at,
sure.
especially if you're going into certain places. And
Yeah.
I'd rather pray a lot more than have somebody come home with me.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, and trust me, they can come home with you. A few of us have experienced that and had to get rid of them. And it wasn't a quick thing to say, hey, leave. That doesn't work. It takes a little finesse.
Well, there was that one we left in the parking lot of Denny's in Rome, so
You're welcome, Denny's, in Rome.
you shouldn't have let me use that salt shaker, huh?
Pete at the time had a sawed-off shotgun full of rock salt in the back of his car.
It's back when I used to be cool. Yeah, I know.
It was cool. I think he actually had duct tape on the trunk, so when the trunk came up, it was right there. You just rip it off there and just cock it. And
I don't spend money on cars. We live in central New York. They all rust. When they make the first plastic car, I'll buy one for up here.
Kevin's going to make one. He's got a 3D
Yeah.
printer.
What is 3D print? I want
He's
an
working
action
on one.
I'm
figure.
going to print it.
I want an action
He's
figure.
going to print one, so.
Kidding me? I
Make sure you
still
give me
want
a
that sawed-off
16-pack
shotgun.
of abs.
You think we can get like a bobblehead before the next show?
Before the next show. In 2 weeks. If I start printing now, I might have it
Might
next
have
month.
This reminds me of that episode of The Big Bang Theory when they all pitched in and bought the 3D printer.
To make the action figures. $5,000 to make 2 action figures.
Oh, word, it doesn't look like me.
Big Bang Theory is a wonderful show. Great entertainment. We absolutely love it. So,
Is that me?
no,
Oh,
that's
oh,
Vinny.
oh.
So, all right, so the
But can you imagine that, having a cemetery in your backyard? I mean, I guess around here that'd be common, being a
well, how
Yeah.
pretty much.
you know, Vinny, how did he know there was a cemetery in his backyard?
He decided to put a pool in.
Oh, I'm seeing the poltergeist all over again.
Literally the same story as Poltergeist.
Yeah, right.
Only the real one.
So they started excavating, and all of a sudden they found a foot bone or something, or a skull.
They started to begin to find long bones, like femurs, and then as they called the police and the medical examiners come in, they find out it's a cemetery. And very shallow grave sites, but it's old. I think
So-
the last burial we could record was like 1910.
So they didn't put him in like they must have just put him in like wooden boxes or something and buried him, or the boxes rotted, or
Some, and some weren't buried with anything. They were just put in the ground.
Maybe a cotton bag.
All I could think of is like Poltergeist when he's yelling, they only moved the headstones.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, it's so there you go, folks. You see the movie Poltergeist. If you haven't, go watch it. And then yes, that does happen.
Well, in our town of Rome, there, the original cemetery is near Big Daddy's submarine shop there, Fort Stanwix Park. They thought all that stuff was moved in 1850 when they opened the main cemetery over on Jervis Ave. Come to find out, when they were doing some renovations there and putting in a new sidewalk, they didn't move
Really?
anything.
Wow.
But again, you're talking 200-year-old remains, so those would have been your original settlers.
Yes.
That would have actually been outside the city limits back then, to show you how small the city.
But don't
Was
they
at the
like
time,
on
but-
Supernatural? Don't they like put gasoline on the bones and burn them? That's what they do in Supernatural, the TV series. Well, you guys laugh, but according to what I was told, Supernatural's got a lot. Somebody's saying that a lot of the stuff in that was they got through consultants and stuff on, like the church and metaphysical and supernatural stuff. Because a lot of their stuff, basically, it's not hokey. It's actually true. But I don't know about the burning of the bones and stuff. That's
So we investigated the Historical Society, not to get off track on you here.
Okay.
For years, up until it was like the 70s or 80s, they had several Onondaga Indian remains on site.
Wow.
And the reservation wouldn't take them back. And then finally they brokered some deal where the nation would take them back. There was like a very specific process. They had to bring them back at like midnight, like specifically at midnight to the reservation, and the chief had to do the there was a whole thing about that. So that was one of the reasons when we got to investigate there, we're like, we should see if there's any residual hokiness from that, because those were kept there for about 30 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Hey, Chris, when you get home, you might want to check on your son. He just sent a comment in that said gas and salt.
Yes, and so, oh no, I think that's well.
In
It
reference
might
to the
be from
burning.
Supernatural,
I
but
think
just check.
yes. Well, he's seen every episode, every season, probably about 6 times.
Okay, then he's familiar with that whole.
Yeah, and
that
that's
whole
what he's
process.
saying. It was gas and salt.
But that's to get rid of a ghost. You know, you had to. That's a supernatural to get rid of the haunting of the ghost.
Yep.
You had to find their bones, and then you had to burn them and salt them. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
How do you handle the Golgothan poop demon? Is that with toilet paper or?
so, all right. Moving forward here with the Poltergeist movie here, there were some deaths. I read
were.
some of that today. So,
Heather O'Rourke,
Mhm.
which is the little girl,
yeah.
died right after the making of the third one.
Mhm.
She was only 12, and she died from cardiac arrest and then went into septic shock.
Yeah, and I was reading a thing on that. She has some gastrointestinal
Yeah, she was
Problems,
misdiagnosed
too.
about intestinal problems.
But they said that couldn't be something that just developed suddenly like that. One person said that basically she would have had problems earlier on in life
Yeah.
with that condition. Then another one came on and said, no, it could just come on all of a sudden. So
Yeah.
that kind of blew that theory.
right after
Crappy
the
way to go.
yeah the first in the first movie, the oldest sister.
Mhm.
You never see her in any of the others. They never really mentioned her either after the first one. It's not really supernatural, but right after the movie, her boyfriend shot and killed her.
Yeah.
You know,
Coincidence? Or
I know
not?
the son during the making of the second Poltergeist. Well, in the first movie, he swore that the clown. Remember, there was the clown that attacked him in his bedroom. Swore that it was choking him, physically choking him, and scared the hell out of him. More so than just being there. And my understanding is it was similar in part 2 with the braces. Remember all the stuff. He got hurt during that one as well. And he swore something was there.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't help but think that some of this is just for publicity for the movie,
True.
But
I know they
the
say
girl being shot obviously is not, and the young girl dying is not. But some of the other stuff sometimes could be.
I know the producer of Poltergeist 2 actually brought someone in to exorcise the set because he felt there was an evil presence on the set during the filming.
It's interesting how these Hollywood companies can just find an exorcist like that. Go call that guy. The guy.
I would assume
They
it's
call
got to be a little bit easier for kind of like a house blessing and type stuff like that than it is a physical person. There's probably a lot less hoops, right? I would assume.
Well, you can pay a priest to come in and just do regular blessing.
And that could be what it is. They could, but
A full-on exorcism. Again, when you go the Catholic route, you would have to get church
The process,
permission.
yeah.
That's
yeah, because he felt it was evil, had the whole place, according to him, exorcised. And then within months of the movie was completed, he died unexpectedly as well.
So like we talked, the Hinsdale house, they had 2 failed Catholic exorcisms. That tells you don't want to go in there because what were they not able to expel?
Yeah.
Because they went through the process to get approved.
But see,
to
but
have
then
that.
if I heard that, I'd be the one that would probably go in the next day just to go in.
So when do we want to go? You want to go May, June?
Ready? Road trip?
You won't
go tomorrow.
back, Pete.
I may not go back. I got zapped there, man. I got zapped hard. So
Well,
I got to go.
hopefully I
find
can
that.
learn from your mistakes.
yeah, don't
Don't
challenge
ask for
anything.
Klaus.
There you go. Don't challenge anything.
You want to
and
do
you'll
our
be okay.
Frankenstein experiment at Hinsdale?
But
It's our Frankenstein.
what was weird with the Hinsdale house is that we talked to Klaus. Peter, remember? We talked to Klaus. We know who Klaus is. We talked to Klaus at the Rucker Mansion. But we also talked to Klaus at the Hinsdale house. That was an interesting fact.
That's crazy.
So if
Yeah.
you're still listening, Ron, we're going to introduce you to Klaus. I know you bought your ticket for the event.
So
Maybe we'll be able to see him.
I don't know if I'm
Yep.
ready to see Klaus. There's a picture that I have on
if
my
he's
phone.
like 6'3", then we got issues.
there's a picture I have on my phone. It has 3 faces looking out of the door on the second floor of the Rucker Mansion. And one of them looks exactly like an old man. The other looks like kind of like a cartoonish like boy. And the bottom one looks like something kind of gruesome like, you know? So I'm wondering what the heck that is. And the guy took it and he come run over to me all like, you know, all like upset and concerned and stuff and showed it to me. And I was like, wow. So I took a picture of the back of the screen of his camera. That's how I got it. So
Okay.
I tried to send that to a news network. They wanted to see it, but when I sent it to them, I don't know what they were doing to it. They're like, we can't see anything. I'm like, what are you doing? I showed it to you right on the phone. You could plainly see it.
With
Anyways.
that, go on our Facebook page, Agent Paranormal. You'll see that we have an event coming up at the Rucker Mansions, April 18th. You can get a VIP package or a regular paranormal investigator package. It's starting at $25. VIP is $45. You can investigate, hopefully meet some of these spirits yourself. Get some photos.
I see Ron just joined us. Ron, when you come to the event, I know I wasn't at the last one. We'll get you up on the second floor. We'll see if we could talk to Klaus.
We do have some comments coming in. Again, if you want to give us a call, the phone line's open at 315-351-2923.
Yeah, the Rucker Mansion is a is a place that never seemed to disappoint us in the past. We, as a group, have done a lot of investigations. I personally have been in and out of there a lot of times. I've done investigations with private parties there, as well as the group. And there's definitely some stuff going on in those mansions. So if you want to come to the event, I highly recommend you get the VIP ticket for $45. You might as well pay for the experience. You'll hang out with us. We'll chat with you. We're going to add a couple VIP-only things in the next couple weeks here to the show for those VIP members. And you get to go on the regular investigation, but then you also get to stick around afterwards and do the VIP investigation, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Are we all getting naked?
No.
This isn't going to be naked afraid in Rucker Mansion?
So what we'll do is
chilly.
we'll put Pete naked in mansion number 3, and the rest of us will be in mansion 1. So anyone who wants to go over to mansion number 3 to hang out with Naked Pete.
I mean, it is April. It might be a little chilly in there still.
That's the one with the working bathroom?
Yes.
All right, I'll stay in 3.
Yes.
Bathroom and food, naked?
You don't need to be in a haunted building to be naked and afraid.
Naked Pete. I could see people walking up that staircase and there you all, everything hanging out there with your portal. Hi, folks.
Look, Vinny might be able to verify this. Years ago, I was told when people go crazy and they go on murderous rampages, they're always naked.
I've never heard that.
Well, you the policeman told me that, so I just assumed it.
What, you and Vinny go way back?
I just saying, well, I wasn't naked. No, that's all right.
Wow.
I'll look that up, though.
We'll Google that. Get back to you.
It's a real. I saw it on the internet. It's got to be true. People before they go on crime sprees get naked.
So like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, naked, all naked.
Yeah, I guess.
Son of Sam,
Wrong.
all naked.
Yeah, it's like you're gay. No, Ron, I'm not going to scare the ghosts away. And yes, Kevin does look like King Tut.
It's this. I can't help this.
Oh my God, he does. Look, looks like there's hieroglyphics behind him and everything. King Tut. All right, now you're just making it weird, Kevin.
Yeah.
So
Don't go all
Steve
Lord
Martin
Carnarvon
back
on
here.
us.
It just got weird, didn't it?
it did. It's always weird, man. I'm telling you.
There you go. They opened King Tut's tomb and all them people died. Talk about superstition.
Was that a movie?
Well, they filmed it. I don't think they filmed them dying.
It was a
Lord
documentary.
Carnarvon, like,
Yes.
Or they all
did it
died, so it's a
live.
dropumentary. They all dropped dead. See what he did with that? Play on
But
words.
see,
Documentary.
this goes in with a little public service announcement about the current virus that's going around. Lord Carnarvon shaved the day before, or shaved just before he went and opened King Tut's tomb, and those 2,000-year-old germs actually are what infected him and killed him.
Damn, I hate those.
Because it went in through
2,000-year-old
the
germs.
wide open pores.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me I shouldn't have shaved today?
That, and he broke the seal that had the double rope on it. You don't ever do that in ancient Egypt.
Did you break any seals
Don't
today?
break the seal.
I wasn't drinking, so.
Okay. All right. Well,
Especially if you're naked.
You're good. You're good. So hey, let's talk about
Hey, King Tut, where's your mommy?
poltergeists. He's just got to get it out there. He's always got that one last one.
I had a lot of crappy pizza in me. I got them all sugared up. I keep breaking his chair too. It sounds like a loud fire.
That's my microphone.
Oh.
Hear that? That's me. Anyways, okay, so let's talk about poltergeists. I mean, we have a guy here that exhumes bodies, so swimming pool. So he's lived the poltergeist movie. So let's talk about this. So first of all, what is a poltergeist? Well, poltergeist is a German word where it's actually polter, which is like noisy, and then geist, which is ghost. So a noisy ghost. That's what a poltergeist is.
I know all about German history. The door's going to be locked when I get home tonight.
We're going to try to keep people. I just caught on to that. We're going to try to keep people away from that.
Poltergeist.
So essentially, what you're talking about is a noisy ghost. However, when we talk about poltergeist, the one thing that always clearly comes out in this type of case is that it's a ghost that can move objects. I mean, furniture. I mean, rearrange drawers and dishes moved out of one cabinet to the next. Things levitate. One of the craziest things I ever heard when I was talking to John's office was water dripping from the ceiling. It was dripping down, or water actually dripping up from the floor to the ceiling. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I walk in a house and there's a puddle on the floor and it's dripping up, I'm out of there. I don't care here, agent paranormal investigator or not. See ya. That's way outside of my pay grade, man. I don't know what to tell you there. So that's what it is. Now, we have a case that presented itself to us, and obviously we're going to keep this very discreet, but one of the things that was discussed about the case in the initial talking was a poltergeist. And I'm not really sure people, when they say poltergeist, I think they refer to the movie, and that's exactly what they think, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's coming out of the TV, it's going to pull you in, and stuff like that. But essentially, what makes a spirit a poltergeist? Are all spirits poltergeists? Are all poltergeist spirits?
It really depends on the situation. For a long time, there's been spirits that can, manifest the energy to move things.
Right.
But then there's also poltergeist, which was also thought to be a teenager or somebody in the home that was going through a very, very stressful situation that can end up manipulating things that they don't even know they're doing it.
Right.
Is that like a telekinesis type
it
thing?
worse. Yeah, basically. And it just makes it worse because they're dealing with this at the same time. They're freaking out. They don't know what's going on.
Or it could be a spirit that's connecting with that person in the house that
Using
has
their
that
energy.
ability and using that to their benefit. So it's almost like it's like a ghost on steroids. It either can make it happen by itself, or it can tap into someone that's there and use their abilities. So my question is, if you're a spirit, can you get to this achievement to become a poltergeist? Is there a special skill set you need? I mean, is it a matter of time? Were you a really bad person, so you got like superpowers? I mean, really, what is that all about?
Wonder if it could just be the energy within the house or within the area they're in.
Poltergeist would only be reserved for a spirit. Like with Kevin's talking about, if anybody out there wants to read the groundbreaking research by Nandor Fodor, he's referring to RSPK, reoccurring spontaneous psychokinesis. That's you manifesting the energy. There's nothing ghost related to that, spiritual related. You're somehow manipulating the energy of the environment, making it happen. Sort of like that one case we did with the sisters.
Yep.
She was making the meter, the electromagnetic meter, increase. She was creating a large sum of energy somehow based on whatever was going on with her brain.
We do believe
Poltergeist
there was
is-
something else going on in that house.
Poltergeist would be specific to that spirit getting your attention. Like the RSPK is you creating. And God, if I could learn how to get flame or electricity to come out of my fingers, things would really change at work, baby. Can you do this?
Never mind.
No.
Never mind. Never
Okay,
mind.
leave Pete alone. He's not feeling good today. like the movie Big Trouble in Little China. Can you print me one of those big eyeballs?
Maybe.
Watching you ache, Jen. Okay, I'm sorry. I had way too much sugar today. I'll just shut up from here on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta
Poltergeist.
lay off the moxie.
Yes. I think it was the Moxie that did him in.
Hey, when it comes to whorehound flavor, I'm there. I love a good whorehound. Poltergeist.
So what?
But
yeah,
what could make a poltergeist evil? I mean, it could be just like we've always said. I mean, if
If it's just
something's
an evil
been dead
spirit.
for years and you can talk to it, it wants to just talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, if something is in the house and it's getting your attention by throwing something, moving something, anything, it's no different than us trying to get your attention. I'm going to throw a cup at you, and if that gets your attention, the next time I need to get in touch with you, I'm going to throw a cup at you because it worked last time.
so it's trying to tell you something.
Yeah,
It's going to extremes.
it doesn't
to try to tell you
necessarily mean that this is a malevolent being.
Like the 3 scratch.
right?
If you think of how you would grab someone's arm, of course it's going to show 3 because the 3 fingers that would indent it are usually where a scratch would be left. It's not that they meant to scratch you. They don't
They're just trying to get
understand
your
the
attention.
dimensional
Yeah,
physics
It- it-
involved.
The pinky finger is just so weak that very rarely does it actually dig in and like scratch anything.
yeah.
Hence, just the 3. But how many times have I been talking to somebody at Facebook or getting a phone call about a case, and people are like, "I got a demon. It's a demon. How do you know? It scratched me." Okay, and there's 3 lines. It's always 3 lines, and then I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, how that is related to demonic, because
Well, that comes down to TV shows and movies.
okay,
because-
yeah, that's where they're getting
Because
their
everyone
information from.
knows what they know by watching these movies or seeing TV
But
shows
the other thing I tell people that say that is think the practicality of it. I mean, go ahead and scratch yourself, and you're going to see the 3 fingers, your index, your middle, and your ring finger,
Yep.
have more of ability to scratch than your pinky or your thumb. So that's where you're getting 3s from.
Yeah.
The
But
pinky is
yeah, it does go back to them saying, they're mocking the Trinity and stuff like that. But it's a lot of Hollywood and
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine where we'd be in the paranormal right now if Hollywood didn't exist.
the pinky has a very distinct.
well, I mean, really, the paranormal has always been driven by some sort of entertainment value. I mean, you go back
Yeah.
to pre-TV, pre-film. I mean, you've got people doing
Back in the days when seances and the
that.
fake people would go in and pretend to make stuff move to get money and
Yep.
Well, you
and
do know in New York State, fortune telling is illegal, so you do have to operate under entertainment in New York. You can't read tarot or any type of fortune
really.
as a career. It is actually illegal in New York. So
I did not
everything in the
realize that.
paranormal realm is entertainment, including psychics, mediums,
I didn't realize that for New York.
larges, extra larges.
So saying all to you people watching, are we entertaining you? Send us a message. Give us a call, 315-351-2923.
Ron wants
I was
us
all
to talk
excited
to a
we had the
gassy
phone number.
ghost.
I was hoping we'd get a call and, ask a question or argue with us or something.
Hold on. Maybe Pete has to do a sultry voice to get them.
A salt tree?
sultry.
What is sultry?
Call our
Sexy
number
voice.
now.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be
Our
1-900
paranormal agents are standing by.
$4.99 a minute?
Ladies and gentlemen, please call us up at 315-351. I can't read the rest of this. Jesus, you need to get a font that somebody can read. What the hell is it? 315-351. What is that, a 2923?
2923.
Holy God, if I can't read it, who else can read it?
We're going to put it in big letters and we're going to print it out for you, 3D.
Holy, they can text us too.
Ooh, text us.
So
315-351-2923. Two tree.
you good?
Two tree.
On your system?
You want some pizza?
No, no pizza. You sound like that comic there, which is Sebastian. You want some Sanka?
Did you
What's his
guys?
name? Sebastian Manicalzo or so whatever.
Not a cop.
You want some Sanka?
I might have dipped into some of the scouting cookies yesterday. You seen I bought a few.
I saw the boxes.
Wow. Did you get my lemon?
I could put an order in.
Tagalongs?
You really want them?
Well, yeah, I thought you were actually.
I thought you were going to sell us some of your
Candy's
stash.
cousins were selling Girl Scout cookies, so I was
Oh yeah, we could ship huh? Yeah, Candy, you listening? Candy. I'll talk to her later.
All right, let's
She
get back to
lives
our
there.
case that we were talking
Yeah.
about.
So again, we have this case that we're working on, being discreet, and it turns out that the case is a business. So when you go into someone's home, there's a whole different set of criteria you go through. When you go into someone's business, there's a different set of criteria because obviously you want to come up with a solution to what's going on. You know, these people spend their days there or their nights working, so they want a solution, you know? And many times when we do a house investigation, they want a solution, but we don't find one other than, okay, we think this is what it is. And then we present the evidence to them, and they're like, oh, is that it? Like, yeah. Oh, we're fine with it then. You're fine with it? Well, we didn't know it was a little girl, or we didn't know it was the old guy who raised his family here or something like that. So they're cool with it. Because basically, again, the fear factor is like, oh, I'm talking to something evil. It's out to get me. It's out to get my family. Then they come to terms that it's really not what it is. Okay? Then they're just happy with it and go away. And we check in back in with them. They're like, yeah, I hear something every once in a while. You know? So they stopped giving it that recognition that I went back to. See, I did that full circle. They stopped giving it recognition, and it just seems to kind of like calm down or go away. You know, like what we did, the one we did up in Woodgate. They didn't even know anything was really going on. We came in, all of a sudden stuff happened, and now afterwards she gave it recognition, and there'd be all these parties she would hear at night and stuff, and then it just got to the point where she just, like, it became background noise, and she stopped giving recognition. And then I checked in, she's like, I don't really hear anything anymore. So just kind of like, you know, it's like, it's there, but it's probably
Like
just...
the people's fear
calm
of
down.
not unknown is actually giving it more energy.
It's you're not acknowledging what they're doing. So now they're just going to do it, and they don't care.
Well, if they don't know what it is
about
and they're scared, that's being that scared nervousness is giving them
Right.
more energy.
Well, it possibly.
Because you're acknowledging something's there because you're scared that's happening. And in return, that's creating energy. But if they know what it is and they're not scared, then they don't. That acknowledgement kind of goes away, and their
But
energy will.
That's a possibility, but also they're acknowledging, giving it recognition, so it's happening, and they're responding, they're communicating with it. So
And most
we
of
know
them
through
will-
what we do that you can communicate, and sometimes, like Pete always said, imagine if you were dead for 100 years and all of a sudden somebody started talking to you.
You probably never shut up.
You're never going to shut up. You're going to want to talk all the time. And many times when we do an investigation with spirit communication, we always tell people, listen, the next night or so, you're probably going to hear some stuff, and the activity might come up a little bit. And in most cases, it does, you know. But being a business, now you're kind of messing with people's livelihoods. So you want to somehow come up with a solution that doesn't freak people out. And basically, as a business, they want to go on their daily lives and be happy and make money and be profitable, right? You know, the American dream.
Yep.
So when you have something, and when you mention the word poltergeist, and you throw that into the mix, I mean, what do you think is a solution to that? I mean, you're all pretty much experienced investigators, such as myself. But what are you thinking when I say that?
Well, see, that's why I'm excited to bring these new gals and guys and girls.
Girls and guys?
Use new
Gals and gals.
investigationals.
Investigationals? Like
Because-
a millennial?
I believe. I don't even remember. No. Once you actually start getting into like businesses, residential investigations, you'll see that television is so antiseptic that these things really aren't. It's all entertainment. You won't actually believe what people live with in their house before they actually reach out to you and call someone. That's why a lot of people think this is all bullshit. It's like, what did it actually take for that person to pick the phone
Yeah.
up and call you and say, I got invisible people in my house that keep me up at night. Like,
Yeah.
well, what the hell are you, nuts?
Well, yeah.
But-
They're
So you always have to take that when you go on. Worst business I ever went in, we're not going to mention where it was, but it was a local one, and it was a popular Halloween attraction. I believe the people there were full on conjuring and practicing some sort of negative behavior. Because at one point, one of the people who invited us in to investigate, he would appear out of nowhere, disappear, appear. Me and one of the investigators, Steve, we got separated from the group of them, and it's like this guy would just randomly come out of a wall. Like, I swear to God, walk out of a wall, and as soon as you turn around, disappear.
He's very intense.
And at one point, I even told Steve, I'm like, if we can't get out of here, I said, pull your gun out, and we're just going for it. I mean, we're in a bad part of Utica, so
Yeah, well, yeah.
it's the one few times we made sure we were armed. But it's like I don't know what they're doing here. Like, I didn't know where the rest of the group was. It's like, are they separating us on purpose? I mean, there was like a dark church set up in one part of the thing, and it's like. And then I got John Zaffis in the back of my head. He said, "Oh, make sure when you're going through there, I think they got the gurneys that the Defoe people were on there because it was sold at an auction in 19 blah, 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 and it went to this company and that company. They might be in there." Yeah. But that was a business that...
Little do you know, they were actually filming that whole thing, and they probably used it as their own documentary later.
We found birds that looked like they were killed for some kind of weird sacrificial thing, laid out in a certain way and stuff. And
always be careful, because you don't know. We've had private residences where people were doing things and called us in to confirm what they were doing.
Yeah.
We really haven't had many of like moving things. We did get the lady who called up, but we never investigated, where she had pasta. She said the pasta actually like danced across the counter, up the pan into the boiling water. And I'm like, you got to get that on film. I'm like,
sounds like a bad cartoon, you know?
Yeah,
Moravia, I guess, would
like
be
the
one
old
of the
cartoons when you go to the drive-in and you got the food that's dancing across the counter.
I would say Moravia had a lot of weirdness to it too. That was another.
Well, I think as a business, if you're up against something like this, and you're experiencing things, or your employees or your patrons, and you got to pretty much, first of all, I mean, before you reach out to a group like us, get some facts. Like, let us know what kind of things are going on, to what degree. You know what I mean? What I mean like that is like, what kind of feelings are people getting? What kind of physical things, noticeable things are happening? You know? And then basically, a lot of times they'll say, well, it's electrical, like a light bulb will turn on and off, or TV will turn on and off. Now, I know electronics can be manipulated. It's very sophisticated stuff. So I don't usually put a lot of merit into that, other than it's you know, I mean, my parents' gas fireplace had an electronic remote. It used to turn on. We would leave, come back, the fireplace is going on. And was it a ghost? No. Somehow the frequency got triggered from someone else's remote or something, and it turned it on. Or like a light bulb blew. I mean, I've had light bulbs blow. I've seen them explode. So old buildings and stuff like that, they may not have the most current electrical wiring or in there. So those kind of things I don't really, unless the TV turns on and there's a face in there talking to you. I mean, that's a different story.
I hate when the lights turn off in the room, especially on cue. Can you turn the lights off?
Well, you're going.
Yeah,
So,
God.
But so when you approach a group like us, an organization, and the one we're talking to has done that, they've done a wonderful job of communicating some of the things that have happened, the feelings that people get. And there's more than one or even two or three people that have seen things. So there's something going on paranormal. Doesn't mean it's paranormal ghost related, but paranormal, like out of the normal, going on there for us to come in. Now, do we go right in thinking, okay, based on this, there's a ghost, there's a poltergeist? No. We go and basically think, all right, we have to verify these claims. We have to physically see and measure what's going on. Because we've done investigations where there wasn't nothing paranormal at all going on there. There was either like mental illness or chemical dependency or EMF or... I mean, and that stuff happens. And sometimes it's sometimes it could be a welcoming thing for that family. Like, so I don't have a ghost. You're like, no. Sometimes it can be a disappointing thing. They're like, oh crap, I was hoping it was a ghost.
And for budding groups out there, now that you brought this up, do you remember the one case up where we're going tomorrow too? I'm pretty sure they were calling us in. The husband was going to use us in like a murder defense trial or something. Do you remember that? We actually made the family meet us at McDonald's. Oh. And when the gentleman went to the bathroom, his wife's like, he scares the hell out, because he was speaking to Jesus. He had videos of him talking with Jesus and all these weird things going on. He went to the bathroom, and the the wife had pretty much said he'd been injured on the work, a head injury. She's like, and he scares me. He sleeps with 2 loaded guns under the pillow. We're like, and she had like 4 kids. It's saying, you got to do something with the guns because.
That sounds like.
And the
totally
more he talked, you knew there was like some kind of.
mental.
Are you using us for like, oh yeah, they told me that something's going on. You got to be very careful what you tell people as a group too, because
Never. First of all, I don't think I've ever went and told anybody your place is haunted. I've never done that. I don't think I've ever told people you've got a ghost here. I don't think I've ever said any of that because you may have something going on in the location, but it doesn't mean it's the location. It could be something that's coming along with someone else and then leaving with someone else.
Yep.
So you can't just say you know your building's haunted. And of course, we went through the whole that period there where people who are renters would call us up, like, oh man, there's stuff going on. There's the wallpaper's peeling off and back on, and this and that. And do you own the place? No, I'm renting, man. I hate this place. It's like, all right. And then we checked around some other paranormal groups, and they're like, yeah, we've got the same thing. All of a sudden, out of the blue, people were trying to use the ghost, reason or defense to get out of their lease, or say, listen, the ghost group came in and told us this place is haunted. We have to get out of here. So, I mean, stuff like that would never come from us. That's not what we do. We investigate the paranormal, and we just give you the findings, okay? If there's something legitimately going on there, we'll help you find resources to
Take care of that problem.
exactly, to battle the issue, take care of the problem, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it.
so basically, besides businesses or people with their personal homes, if you're reaching out to somebody, make sure that the group that you're reaching out to has some kind of notability. You can see that they're active. Talk to them first. Make sure that you can trust them.
I would say if they're
You're bringing
looking
these
for.
people into a very personal place.
Yes, I would say if
And-
the first thing they want is some sort of dollar amount, chances are it's not going to be totally legit.
You don't pay for a paranormal
No.
investigation.
No.
You
Yeah,
just
we're
don't do it.
always free if anyone needs anything from us.
No.
We're there to assist you and see what you got going on.
I'm not saying legitimate people don't charge, but
Yeah.
if that's the first thing
yeah.
they're looking for, then maybe they second
On the flip
guess
of the
them.
coin, we have to also say, for anyone out there that are paranormal investigators, the same thing goes for you. Whoever's reaching out to you, ask all the pertinent questions before you go to this place. Get as much information as you can. You got to protect yourself the same way.
And one thing is we don't go in and investigate right off the get-go. If we have someone has a real problem, and after doing like a phone screening, email communications back and forth, we go in and we do a consult. We sit down with them and actually meet the people, see the site, and we usually send a team in. We don't go by ourselves, and we basically want to see it for ourselves, and we want to walk around and see if we get that feeling, or they can show us what happened, or meet the people to see if we can read them, things like that. It's important to us because we do this, we don't want to put ourselves in danger, and of course, this is stuff that we do for free. So, I mean, it's like, there's, it's our time and resources and money that we put into this to help people.
if you want to put food out, we'll definitely.
Food is always a wonderful thing to see.
Maybe
We
a
will take food.
little spread,
Nice little spread. Cookies,
Oh, you should- over
cheese
the
platter,
years.
stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Coffee.
nice glass of wine.
Westgate, the cookies. Oh my God, cookies.
So,
But your poltergeist, we did have a poltergeist. Now that I'm trying to randomly go through in my mind.
right, I was
everything.
trying to circle around back to that, so I'm glad you mentioned that. So,
It's the one where I pissed everyone off and they left because I screamed at him. Me, you, and Steve were upstairs. The case was the one over where the guy had just been killed in a snowmobile accident.
that was over in the Westmoreland area, I believe.
Yes, and he was walking around in his room up there, and we could hear him walking around in his room. And every time we would focus the thermal cameras on the room, the cameras would fail. So the rest of our team's downstairs having a party. Me, Rich, Steve, and the homeowner up there, she's like, oh my God. She's like, I see the shadow. He's moving. And we're like, it's all right. You can come talk to us. And everybody's laughing downstairs. And finally, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah,
And they all
Pete
got
let
mad
loose.
and laughed
Pete was a
about it.
poltergeist that night. He let
But
loose at him.
that was where something we were actually there was manipulating stuff moving and dragging in the room and we respected it. We wouldn't go in the room. We stayed. I forgot what it was, a room, then a closet. And then it was a weird house the way it was set up.
Is
you
there
had
a
to go
reason
through the
why you don't
bathroom
go
to
in
get
there?
to a different?
It was an old farmhouse that was chopped up. And,
Yeah, I'm just curious.
We just
you
didn't
know,
want to
being new
scare
to this,
him.
Was there? Oh, so you don't want to scare that away?
Yeah.
Is that?
I think that was our purpose of not like confronting him. Like, if you want to come talk to us, come out and.
Okay.
yeah.
But the equipment failure was phenomenal. It's like we'd wait for the thing to reset the thermal image camera. It's like you'd see the shadow, the thing would just trigger out and restart the.
Oh.
We had a lot of problems with that. We did one up north where actually a card got ripped out of a woman's hand. It was a Valentine's Day card, and she was reading the card, and as soon as it got ripped out of her hand, she screamed. She said, "Rich!" And something just like clocked me right in the back of the neck, and it hit me hard. And it was just a card. I mean, granted, a card from like many years ago. Those things are pretty heavy duty now compared to the Hallmark ones you get at CVS.
Real cardboard.
But man, that thing hit me like a baseball in the back of the neck, and I just turned around and I looked at what are you doing? The hell did you throw the card at me? I thought she just chucked it at me, and she's like, "No, it got ripped out of my hands." And I'm like, "Okay, this is getting weirder by the second." So, would that be considered poltergeist type?
Yes, because
level
it's
activity?
physically manipulating the environment.
And then when I called you back upstairs in the house, because I told you I heard
door,
something
yeah.
run up the stairs and slam all the doors. And he went upstairs, and there were 6 doors. They're all opened, and she had like little like antique irons and stuff like that
Yeah.
to keep them open, because the old houses, the doors will move and stuff like that from a breeze or whatever. And every single one of them was closed. And I don't know where the little things were. I think they're all out in the hallway.
I know
That to me is like poltergeist type activity.
these guys. They all think I'm like the Rambo of the paranormal. I'm like a -3 on a Scooby Doo level over here. It's like if something happens, I'm the first one who's going to scream and poop, and I have. I mean,
Well,
oh Pete, all the doors closed upstairs. By the way, we left the camera up there. Can you go get it? No.
Well, that was
As
like
you're
the
walking
last.
up the stairs.
Well, that was the last time we went to Rucker. You know, you and I, and we went upstairs, and he was staying down to pack up what the box there, and all of a sudden he come up and he's like all pale and sweating,
I
and
had a little run-in with Klaus, but
he come on. Yeah, he wouldn't tell me until after we left the building.
he didn't appreciate your German jokes, did he?
no.
So have you seen any of that physical manifestation like that in the Rucker, or is it usually just voices and shadows?
For me, it's been voices and shadows. I've seen a couple of shadow figures dart down the hallway in mansion number 3, because on the second level mansion number 3, you get away from the main bedrooms and stuff where the wealthy family live.
Yeah, oh, down
Going
that
on that
long hallway in
Kevin
the
knows the
back.
hallway. He's been down there.
That's
and then
a-
you got the little like the
like
servant quarters, and they
like
have
a million
one
rooms.
bathroom they all share.
Yep.
Yep.
And then they have another entrance that goes down into the kitchen.
Yeah, the servants.
Right.
Yep.
Well, one night we chased something. We saw it dart out of the bedroom, run down the hallway. We chased it. We didn't know where it was going. We followed it, came to a door. We went down the door, and all of a sudden we end up whipping the door open, and there is the kitchen, brightly lit, and there's the whole staff of the Landmark people sitting there like having a beer.
We should try that on the next one. See if we get footprints up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Footstop.
We can use baby
Footprints.
powder, or do you want to use booby powder?
Yeah, booby powder.
Well, booby powder is better.
So
It gets more attention.
Well, yeah.
that definitely was a Scooby-Doo moment. They're all sitting there having a
Yeah.
beer. All of a sudden, the door was open, like, and they're like, "Can we help you, Rich?" I'm good, thank you. They're like, "Do you need something?" I'm like, "No." And I couldn't remember. Somebody came running down. Where did it go? And they turn around, and look at me, and I'm like, "Oh, we were just chasing a shadow thing that ran down the hallway here." And they're like, "Is it in here?" Then they all started to freak out. They're like, "No, you're good."
Yep.
Well, it's like
You see like a group of 6 of the workers sitting there and some shadow figure in the background.
Yeah. Well, I was like,
Where are
I was
they?
like embarrassed. I tried to like, "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to barge in." And then the other person comes out, "Where did it go? Where did the shadow figure demon go?" And they're all sitting there like with their beards, like, "Oh my God!" It's like, we're good. Nothing. We're good. We're good. That's definitely a Scooby Doo moment. Definitely was. So
Anybody have a few shotguns? We can maybe get some blanks for the Rucker investigation. Just kick a door open.
with salt.
we can do the salt.
No, Pete.
I know we might. We might hit one of the
I don't
Drug
think
addicts
anyone's
out
going to
on the
want you to come
staircase.
to their house and investigate. Is he going to come with a shotgun and rock salt?
We got enough fresh meat you can send in.
You don't know.
Oh, I'll
They
go
need to
anywhere
get chopped up.
wherever you want me to
You
go. I'll
might get
go.
an ice buildup from freezing rainstorm. You just shoot the ground and it's all gone.
Boom.
I'm looking forward to crawling in
Boom.
that.
Problem solved.
I'm looking forward to crawling in that closet up on the 3rd floor there. That little
Yeah.
attic closet,
With the cage, we call it there.
the cage.
Yeah.
I want to take the camera down in the cage.
That's Johnny's room.
Have a good time.
Johnny's
I'm
room.
that room just amazes me. Trying to figure out
Can we
what it's about.
padlock you in there?
I'll stay.
I'll tell you what, you would love the Knox Mansion. That is
Guys, give me dates.
Yeah,
Give me
because it's
dates.
got an even more creepy cage room than that. It's in the
Yeah.
back with a hidden passage to get in there,
it is
and then there's just a
hidden
chair
door.
sitting there by itself in the room.
It is a hidden room, like
Wow.
no kidding, and they've got actually a couple secret compartments and shelvings and stuff like that.
Really?
throughout
Yeah,
the-
you got to crawl to get in there too.
Yeah.
You can't walk in there. You have to get on your hands and knees. Because I took some people down. We were crawling through insulation on the other side that went around the other way. We're like, where does this go? And came a flashlight, and there's that room. And there was a person sitting there. It was Dangerous Dan.
There is
He
actually
was even in there.
there's actually 2 entrances in the room because there's a bedroom just on the other side of that wall, and there is a secret door there though, and they'll bring you right there.
Who would sleep in that bedroom knowing there's a creepy room
I
that they used to keep someone in behind there, and someone's got their bed, and then there's a little access panel right next to the bed that goes in there. I would be laying there and just looking, I'll see the Grudge, her come walking out.
pretty sure there are 2 kids live in that room.
Yeah,
Sure,
Not
just
me,
two.
man. Not me.
But I
sorry.
tell you what, we've done quite a few investigations with them down there, a couple of events.
All right, I got to move her. I can't see you
And-
anymore.
Their kids are always in on the events. I mean, their one daughter, she was like 9 years old, and she was up the stairs faster than everybody to try and
Wow.
chase something up the stairs or get into a room to do the investigation. She had no fears.
That's awesome.
I mean, on the staircase, they have 2 paintings, and it may be the people who founded the Knox Mansion, whatever.
Yep.
But those paintings, no matter what angle you look at, they're always looking at you. You go up the stairs, you go to the top of the stairs, they're looking at you like this. Go down the bottom of the stairs, they're looking at you down like this. It's just the weirdest thing. It's creepier than all hell. They're always looking at you, Chris. Always.
Following eyes.
That's
Mhm.
you meet the most impressive people you'll ever meet at that event. The last one we did, this is a piece of humor here. So there was a younger kid. He was like maybe 17, 18. And we got talking. He's like, "Oh, I love history, this and that." "Oh, I love history too." And he's like, "I'm a World War II reenactor." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Not too many people around here. Usually around here it's Revolution or Civil War." I'm like, "What do you portray?" He's like, "Oh, I play an SS officer." And I'm like, "Well, that's why you have blonde hair and blue eyes." I'm like, "Okay, you actually walk around in a German uniform and." Okay, so yeah, she'll meet all types in this business. He knew his stuff. I mean, he wasn't
Yeah.
actually like a Nazi-born child, but
Are you
I-
sure
I-
about
I-
that,
I-
Peter?
I-
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Well, there's that new show on Amazon now called Hunters, which is where they actually are hunting the Nazis, and it's like they're living in America.
It looks like there's a witch show made for men coming on now, Fort Salem,
Really?
on Hooja
Hula hoop.
Splix. Hooja Splix, one of them.
You just create words as you go along.
I
don't
don't
you?
know what it's called, but basically, this coven of witches said that they were going to help George Washington beat the British. So they became like their own army, and they're still their army, and it's Fort Salem. That's not the name of the movie, but it's all
Oh, it's Freeform.
all
I think
witches.
it's on. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Freeform. Yeah, it's kind of like a.
Splix, right? What is
It's
it?
kind of like. Would you just call it?
Free Splix.
It's almost like a teenage Sabrina the Witch type series. That's I mean,
Huh.
Freeform. That's usually.
So my cousin Vinny, Seamus, if you're out there listening, it's probably one for you.
So anything else we can contribute to Poltergeist for the audience, for the listening people out there in Central New York?
No, but I'm curious. What happened with the Passion of the Christ?
Oh, Passion the Christ. Let's see. We got
That had to be poltergeisty.
little bit. Yeah. Threw me off there. I wasn't.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to engage everyone's 315-5. I don't know. My watch party, my phone's dead, so I don't know what the hell the number is. I couldn't read it anyway if I could. But
315-351-2923.
Robert would like to talk to you.
He's over standing by.
You have to ask permission to talk to him, though.
Yes, I did ask permission. He was awesome.
And I know the great Universal creator, so.
All right, so tell us about this Passion of Christ guy here.
Well, in the Passion of the Christ, it says on multiple occasions there were the lead actor was struck by lightning while on set, and there were other people on the set that were struck by lightning as well. I don't know if that's coincidence. I mean, it's not really paranormal movie, but it's got
It's
Wow.
But you're still
sort of mocking
Mocking.
religion.
Yeah.
so.
I know the guy who played Jesus in the movie had a lot of issues. He was struck by lightning. He suffered hypothermia, lung infections multiple times. That just could be from, the fact that he probably walked around with nothing on most of the movie. But
Interesting.
he
But was it
complained of like
lightning?
pneumonia, terrible headaches. He dislocated his shoulder. Was always getting hurt through the movie.
Wonder if that was really lightning, though, if that was spiritual energy.
Yeah, I'm not
He was
sure about
pretty
that.
good in that role.
That's the one directed by Mel Gibson.
Yes.
Yep.
I know they said that
The actor
that final scene where they whipped him was so intense it actually took a huge chunk of his flesh right off him in the middle of it. So
That was the
Not
one,
that
if you
that's-
don't like subtitles, because it was all in Aramaic, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to like the movie.
That's an intense movie.
Yeah,
That's like the opposite of The Exorcist intense. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like The Exorcist is so intense on the demonic side, and this is so intense on the mocking the religion side of things. And it's interesting how all these things sort of mock it to a certain degree, or could be viewed as being mocked by whatever supernatural entity would
I
look
mean,
at it that
just
and
movies
just
in
wreaks havoc
itself.
back at them. You know what I mean?
Just
It's like
the movie in itself and trying to recreate.
there's a price to pay.
There's a price to pay,
There's a
and
price to pay.
something out there could be considering that mocking.
There's a price to pay, and that's why a lot of people get involved in the witchcraft and stuff like that, and other types of practices. There's always a price.
It's not
to
even
pay.
just witchcraft. I mean, paranormal investigators. I mean, you said it yourself. You've gotten zapped. I haven't fully gotten zapped, but I've had my energy drained on an investigation to the point where you just need to sit down and get away for a little bit.
Right, and it's not like a full blown like you're sick. It's just like everything's taken out of you. Like it's the worst fatigue you've ever had, where you just want to just lay. You're not like having like respiratory problems or anything. At least I didn't. It's just like you just lay there like and not even pain. It's just like whatever energy source or your batteries are low, and you just.
Yep.
But when it goes away finally, you sit right up. It's like, that's it. It's all right. And like, do what I do. I went to McDonald's and got a large vanilla shake, quarter pounder with cheese, and greasy fries.
Nasty
I just
pizza.
was craving it so bad. It's like, got to put it back in there, man. Whatever came out, you got to put it back in there. So
Who's
then I got sick. Then I had the whole sick.
who's that kid too? The Joker there. That was another one fully encompassed by darkness after. What's his
Heath
name?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Well, that was
It's a little different. I think he was a method actor. He got into the role so heavily. I think mentally wise, it played a massive toll, and that's I think what happened with that one.
right after Heath Ledger passed away. There was actually a quote from Jack Nicholson on the topic, and all he said was, "I warned him." And later on, he kind of, talked a little bit more about that and told him, the Joker is a very dark figure throughout
Yes.
DC Comics, and that psyche can really mess with a person that you're trying to get into that, especially a method actor like
Yeah.
Heath Ledger was.
I mean,
Jack
this-
Nicholson did deal with some stuff. He dealt with stuff on The Shining too.
yeah. Well, not as
They're
bad as
good.
Shelley Duvall, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was Shelley Duvall dealt with it because that's what Stanley Kubrick did to her.
But yeah, they tortured her through the whole movie.
But it's kind of like a curse of the Joker. It's people who have played the Joker have always had some kind of thing. Obviously, Cesar Romero, not so much because he.
Oh, come on. Don't take it away from Batman.
I never had to announce I was Batman. They just knew.
The white paint over the top of his mustache.
That was great stuff. Those are good old days, man. That's when Batman was Batman.
And let's not forget King Tut.
Yes, yes, he was a villain on
Holy
Batman.
microphone beard Batman.
So we're completely getting off the subject here. So, well, it's rolling up on 8:33, folks, and coming to the conclusion of our show. Do you gentlemen have anything else to add? We want to thank Vinny for joining us on our episode tonight. He actually came down here and talked to us about a different matter, but why not? Stick him on the show. We appreciate the input. Now, this is a guy who really plays with dead people and sees dead people. So,
And no, he did not keep any skeletons for himself.
since we told us at least.
They go for pretty good. I seen a skull go for $500 on a internet auction the other night.
Really?
I didn't know you were allowed to sell human remains anymore.
Not supposed to, but
There's another.
What the hell?
There you go,
going
Kevin.
on
Another
outside?
idea with the old screen printer. It's a human skull, but it's only 4 inches big. No, that's what happens when they die. They shrink.
Well, shrunken heads.
They shrink.
Our fraternity had one, and they actually came in and confiscated that. Because
Really? Was
one
it
of
actually
the
a
people
real?
sent it home from Vietnam.
Was it a real?
It was used for ceremony. Yeah, it was real. They're like, you guys shouldn't have this. You should. Actually, it was the national. When the national fraternity came and did their appraisal of the local, they're like, this isn't plastic. They're like, we've had this forever. So and so sent it back from Vietnam. We're like, you can't have a real head. Like,
What's wrong with you people?
It's just a little head.
What's wrong with you people? So, any last words,
I
gentlemen?
think I just incriminated myself. But never mind.
Basically, all I got to say is for all of our viewers, I believe March 22nd will be our next episode. That's in 2 weeks. We're going to go 2 a month now.
That's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Are you coming?
I might.
Well, happy birthday then.
Okay.
I'll bring some crappy pizza.
Crappy pizza? Looking forward to it.
Maybe some Holland Farm.
We'll put a candle on it.
Candle in the crappy pizza?
Mm-hmm. It's the only way
Half
to eat it.
moons, jelly buns.
Along with that, Pete and I, and I'm not sure who else in the group will be going. Well, Pete, myself,
Diane.
Maeve.
Diane.
We're going to be heading down
Diane.
to Phenom 2020 down in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
I am going to try and hit down for one day.
All right.
I'm looking at possibly driving down Saturday morning and coming back Sunday. So I'm going to try.
Awesome. So if anyone of our listeners are actually from that area, stop in, come see us. Should be a great day. There's going to be a lot of paracelebs that day. John Zaffis is going to be there.
It's the only one I'm looking forward to.
Well, that's when I saw he
Stacey
was there.
Jones.
That's when I
Oh,
really
come on.
wanted to go because I'd love, we got a chance
Stacey
to
Jones
talk.
is going to be there, Pete.
I know she.
Well, I was more excited about Zaffis. We got a chance to talk to him. I've never had a chance to meet him yet, and I
Well,
was just looking forward to meeting him.
go down to the event and you can meet him.
I'm
But also know that April 18th, we've got our event coming up. We're going to try to get into the Rucker Mansion to do a few things ahead of time, do a little bit of filming possibly, do some investigating so we can add some new stuff to the presentation. The Agent Paranormal presentation we have is killer as far as I'm concerned, and
Literally.
literally killer. Literally.
Someone's going to die.
Yeah, definitely get out there, buy your tickets, reach out to us, get your tickets. They're going to go fast. So,
they're already starting to sell.
yeah,
So
quite a few are already gone.
Yep, and we always know that when we get with a few weeks of the event is when all the tickets fly off the shelf. So,
Michelle is also going to come down and help out if we want.
oh, okay. So
From White Light Research, she said she's willing to take on a group.
all right. So we have some paranormal organizations outside of the Utica Rome area that we've networked with over the years. They're going to come down and give us a hand. That's great. I mean, that's kind of like a para-unity kind of thing when we help each other out.
And she does things a lot different. So they'll get a perspective like we don't use. Like she uses the rods and different types of metaphysical stuff that we're not too
attuned.
familiar with using.
Yeah,
I should
always
say,
want to see a
based
different
on-
way to do things.
And
So
for all of you people out there that
You
love
people?
You people.
all the you people,
It's Utica. It's use guys.
use guys.
Use guys.
all you
Use
guys out
use
there.
people.
all you guys out there that like the Utica roasting, we are planning on having our own Agent Paranormal blend of coffee which will be on sale hopefully at the Rucker Mansions.
Yeah, I got to buy some more. We sold out
Yeah.
the whole
It's
entire
awesome.
box of
Have
coffee.
you made any of it yet?
I made it to drink it? Oh yeah, it's wonderful.
You know what I've been doing is I've been making iced coffee out of it.
I didn't think. of
I
that.
brew the whole pot. I put it in the fridge. And I've been making iced coffee. It's amazing.
Cool. Looks like I'm going to have to order some more. You have to go visit my friends over at Utica Coffee Roasters. Great place. I actually got to go inside and see how the coffee was being packaged and processed. And it was a pretty cool operation. It's a big operation. You know, it's now I know why they got several different facilities to do it all, but there's no other company that we would brand our coffee with other than them. They do an amazing job. So
They got
yeah,
the
we'll have it
beans.
for sale at the event. So you can right now, if it still have it left, you can buy it at the shops at the finish line.
You can buy it for
Utica.
only a few beans.
Just
You-
so look up the shops on the finish line. Call Sue if she has any left there. She's got a little Buy Utica kind of store there, and it's Utica products. So otherwise, we'll have some at the event.
other than that,
I personally love all of you. I wish you well. Just remember, as above, so below. What you put out, you receive. If you want good things to happen, be a good person. If you don't, then you're going to end up waiting in the 15 or less line in Walmart with somebody with 75 items in front of you, and you deserve it.
Without your plastic bag?
Oh, don't even get me going. I forgot it 4 times this week. I'm like,
I think that's where we should end it. That was the perfect send-off. So with that being said, Central New York and all our listeners, have a wonderful and safe evening. Enjoy the wonderful weather we get this week. I hear temperature's going to be coming up. Be safe, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Night.
love you.
scare you later.
Love you.